Alright, welcome back guys. So today, I thought it would be good to talk about why you need to lift weights. A lot more guys have been doing this within the past couple years, it seems like. Maybe it's just because I've noticed more people from my generation doing it. But I think it's fantastic. You see, one of the things that men need to learn in life is what you can and cannot control. This is something that Marcus Aurelius talked about a lot. You have to know what's in your control and what's not in your control. One fantastic thing about weightlifting is so much of it is in your control. Now, your max genetic potential for the most amount of muscle you can gain or how strong you can be is not in your control. But what is in your control is how much you eat, what you eat, how often you lift, and what exercises you do. Those things are in your control. Now, in a world full of mentally weak men, there are also many physically weak men. And imagine what you'd be doing if you weren't already lifting to start lifting. How much better would that make you? Well, you actually don't know. You have no idea if you haven't started lifting. And maybe you are still lifting and have been lifting for a little while, but you just don't train as hard as you could. These are things you need to look at because if you haven't started lifting, this is an area you should focus on. Getting stronger, building muscle. You'll feel better as long as you don't overeat or eat too little. You will look better and you'll feel so much stronger, and that just brings an air of confidence about you, at least a little bit more than you would have if you didn't lift at all. Now, one big thing that I think is very, very important for people who have been lifting for at least like a couple months is training to failure. Now, I think if you're just starting off, maybe you're 2 months in, then I would not do that. I would just go a couple days a week and start eating a little bit more and just doing the basics. That's what I would do. But as soon as you get to like 3, 4, 5 months in, training to failure is the best thing you can do. Not just for gaining muscle, but for also realizing how much more you can do. And I think it's actually building muscle is a great metaphor for life. Because yes, you have to constantly work at going to the gym, lifting weights, coming home, getting in enough protein, enough calories. And sometimes that's difficult. Sometimes you just don't want to eat. Sometimes you don't want to go to the gym. And the hardest thing is showing up. And to me, the equivalent of showing up to the gym is realizing what you want to do in life and working towards that thing and staying consistent at it. Because that's the only way you can get anything done, is being consistent at it. I mean, the same is true with making YouTube videos. If I made 5 videos, one every couple months, it wouldn't do anything. But if you stay consistent at this, if you stay consistent in the things you're doing in life, if you stay consistent in the gym, you will see results. And you'll realize, if you train to failure, that instead of doing 10, 12, maybe 15 reps, you can do 5 more. You can do 5 more. What you thought was failure, going to failure at 10 reps, is not. You can do 5 more. And those 5 more are going to hurt a lot. But then when you walk out of the gym, you're going to go, I did the best I could. I did the most I could. Maybe you only went for 30 or 45 minutes. You can still get a fantastic workout in if you just do a couple exercises and you train to failure. That will make it so much better. You don't need to spend 1-2 hours in the gym. You need to train hard. Because you see, what's in your control that you know for sure is in your control, or at least you should get it in control, is you. So by going to the gym and training to failure, or getting to the point where you will start training to failure, you will realize that so much more is in your control than you thought, and that you can do so much more than you thought. And then when you start training to failure, you realize, I build a decent bit more muscle by doing this. I feel better because I know I trained the hardest I could today. And it's just like life. You realize you can do so much more than you could even imagine. And it doesn't just have to be about weightlifting. I mean, this is about any physical sport. If you started, let's say, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it would be the same. Or wrestling, or you could be lifting as a bodybuilder or a power lifter. You could just run. I mean, that's another great thing to do too, is see how far you can run. Last summer, I had never ran before. I was at my grandma's house and I was like, you know what? I want to run. I want to see how far I can run. The first day, and this was over like 5 days, the first day I ran 4 miles. The next day I ran 8. The day after that I ran 10. The day after that I ran 6. And the day after that I ran about 4 again. And I had never run before in my life. And it hurt so bad. Especially that day I did 10 miles. That hurt so much. And actually, I guess the 6 miles the day after the 10 miles hurt more. It was more difficult. But I realized that so much more was in my control, and I could do so much more than I imagined. By controlling my breathing, controlling my pace, I realized that I could run all the way into town and back. That it would hurt a lot. By the time I got back, I felt like I was going to throw up. But that was all right, because I had never done that before. And I went so much farther than I ever have. It was fantastic. So I recommend that you guys start lifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding, wrestling, BJJ, running, anything. You need something physical as a man to show you, to push you, to realize that you can do so much more than you think, and that there will be results when you do it consistently. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.